Juan Hernandez is a former advisor to the Mexican president, Vicente Fox, and he joins us now. Juan, in what sense are these people in the caravan asylum seekers?
Well, I've met with many of them. I met with the 7,200 caravan in the state of Guanajuato that I now work for under the governor Diego Sinue, specifically working with immigrants, mostly Mexican immigrants living in the United States. But also it was my duty to make sure that we treated a humanitarian way these 7,200 that went through Guanajuato. And I'll tell you, you sit down with them for a minute and you're in tears. These are children, these are women. Let me finish. These are people looking for a better way of life, like your family and my family did many years ago coming to the United States.
Well, I don't know about you. I didn't come as an asylum seeker, but if I was an asylum seeker, this caravan has marched across two national frontiers. It marched into Guatemala illegally, and then it marched into Mexico illegally. If you're an asylum seeker, aren't you supposed to seek asylum in the first safe country you come to?
My friend, we all know the United States is today the most powerful nation in the world. It's the dream of many, many people who are just trying to get out of dire poverty, violence, to be able to reach the United States and to be able to be a blessing as they are the immigrants to this nation. That's the dream. They're coming to the United States and they're seeking asylum. They're not invading, and it's such a small number. We're talking about 10,000, 12,000 total, my friend.
No, but you're now saying that a dream is a basis for an asylum. I might have a dream. I might have a dream to live in Barbara Streisand's house. It doesn't mean I have the right to go and move into her guest bedroom.
But if you're in the block away from her home and you're being attacked and you're being raped and your children, the only chance that they will have is to maybe join a gang, and you can't even feed them, you would be knocking on that movie star's home saying, is there some way that I could be here at your home and work for you?
Yeah, she still wouldn't let me in, Juan. You know that.
I know she would. She would, my friend.
Here's the thing, though. You talk about all the children, there's women being raped. These are overwhelmingly young men. What kind of refugees, what kind of asylum seekers leave the old and the sick and their kids and their women folk back in Guatemala or wherever, and it's just the young men who come across the frontier? It's overwhelmingly young men.
Yes, probably about 75 to 80% are young men. You're right. They're the ones, back to our big dreams, they're the ones who want to do better for their families, and they're leaving desperately. They see no way that they can be able to survive in some of the places where they come from.
No, but just everyone with a dream. There's 7 billion people on the planet. And as you say, America's the most powerful, wealthiest, all the rest of it. Does that give 6.5 billion people the right to move to the United States?
It's not that it's the right. Those many would claim that it is a human right, that if you are in dire situation, you're going to try, even if you have to break some administrative rules. They have not committed crimes. They are just seeking asylum.
You're now part of the state government in Mexico.
Yes, sir, proudly.
What's wrong with your state, then? If they just want a better life, why can't they move to your state? Your state's better than Honduras, wherever they come from?
Yes, it is, but the dream for them was the United States. There's a wonderful article by Father Mello, a priest from Honduras, and he called it The Boil Over. I suggest that many of your viewers read it. I think it was New York Times came out, the translation. And he said that these were a people, they're not organized, they weren't paid by anyone. A few dozens were going to desperately just leave the country, and it just boiled over. Literally thousands said, we can take it no longer. We must seek a better life. And it's happening, you're right, all over the world. Today, there are 250 million people going from one country to another trying to find a better life. We have to deal with it. We must be a country of laws, and I'm speaking Mexico and the United States, but also countries that are we're being tested, my friend, today. Other nations have not passed the test.
Well, wait a minute.
We need to pass this test of being humanitarian and with dignity to these people.
Why is it in the interests of other countries for all their most talented people to move to the United States or Western Europe? Why is it in why is it in the interest of Guatemala or anywhere else to be denuded of its most talented people?
Well, sure. It's mostly economic. And the United States, if you, and I'm sure you do, read the statistics, the United States is growing less than 1%. The United States needs about 350,000 new people every year. These 10,000 are good people. They've got. I met them. They went through our wonderful state of Guanajuato that, by the way, is doing great financially. But their dream is to come to the United States.
There's plenty of good people. If you go to these airport diners, by the way, you enter your meal order on a machine. Nobody needs people anymore. It's all automation. Juan, thank you for that. No, it is true. 30% of the world's going to be unemployed in a few years.